So we're using the dice roller program again.
You're recording, huh?
Yes. Don't talk. And so on page 185, we will see that we have a dice program. They've actually got the instructions here. You can just go and type the code in, but what's that going to help us? We're not going to learn anything just by copying and pasting code into our program, so we're actually going to do it ourselves. Basically, we want to calculate how many times you need to roll the dice before you roll a 12. Question is, do we want the two dice to be the same? Well, we won't worry about that now, actually. We just want to roll dice until we get a 12, okay? So, this is what we're going to do. In our button, click BT and roll the dice. We make two variables, R num1 and R dice. Well, let's call it R dice, okay? Because we know that dices have numbers from 1 to 6 on them. Thank you. R dice 1 and R dice 2. Now, we're going to count how many times it's going to take to get two numbers not equal, equal to 12. Okay? I'm going to use what we call a Boolean flag. B success colon Boolean. B success. Now we call this a Boolean flag because guess what? It's going to help us to run the while loop. I'm going to make that my while loop condition. I'm going to say first, this is how it's going to work. Where we've got R dice 1, R dice 2, and guys, before we carry on, we have to make sure we've got math in the uses section here, so comma math. So math in the user section. And anyone who's written this program, again, you better be doing it the way I do it, because I'm teaching you new things here. So we're going to Boolean flag. B success. We're going to make it equal to false. We're initializing it to false. And while it stays false, the loop is going to run. So there's our condition right there. While B success equals false, do generate two dice. So while B success equals false, do begin and end. So can you see we've set a condition and we've made it so that B success, the while loop will start if B success is false. So, okay, fine. The while loop is going to start, yeah? Because the first time the processor looks at this and says, oh, B success equals false. Fine. And then it says, while B success equals false. Well, B success is false, so we can carry on and do the rest of the while loop, which will be to generate R dice 1 random range, open brackets 1 comma 7. That's to get a number from 1 to 6. And R dice 2, which is also going to be in the range from 1 to 6, so it's random range 1 comma 7. So while B success is false, yes, we're going to generate two random numbers, but we're going to go and check to see if the sum of those numbers is equal to 12. Now we're going to ask the question, after these two dice have been generated, we say if R dice 1 plus R dice 2, if that is equal to 12, guess what's going to happen then? We're going to set B success colon equals to true. Here's the cool part. This while loop is going to happen forever. And at the end of it, we want to display our dice 1. Well, it won't happen forever. It will happen until the sum of the two dice equal to 12, you know. We can, at the end of the while loop, we can display R dice 1 and R dice 2. Let's see if there's a, I'm going to put it in list roles. LST roles dot, oh, no, I'm not. Let's do a show message. Show message. We're just doing a show message to make sure. String R dice 1 and join that to a plus sign, and then R dice 2 into string, so we can see, you know, did our program work? And then we can join that to an equal sign and the number 12. Well, we'd have to go and do this space. We're just showing this message to test our code so far. Yes, we haven't finished yet, but we're testing what we've done so far. We formulated a loop to go and generate two random numbers, and the loop will stop as soon as the two random numbers together add up to 12. When is the loop going to stop? Well, as soon as B success is true, the while loop is going to go and check, oh, is B success false? Well, if it's not false, it's true, so therefore the process is going to zoom over to the show message statement. And this is the whole crux of the while loop. You have to make sure the while loop is going to stop somewhere along the line. Otherwise we have what is called a freezing. You know when your computer freezes? That is when a loop is going on forever and ever and ever. Freezing is a loop that doesn't stop. Now while loops and repeat loops are all guilty of that. They can all freeze. But that's up to the programmer to make sure they don't freeze. You know? Programmers got to be very clever and make sure their loops never freeze. I mean, never continue indefinitely, otherwise the computer will freeze. So while B success is false, we're going to generate two numbers. If the two numbers add up together, B success will be true, the loop will stop. And then we'll have our show message component where we're displaying dice 1 and dice 2. And whenever you're ready, we're going to run the program and see if that works. So let's run the program and see if it works. Roll the dice, and yes, it did that. Let's roll the dice again and see if we get different numbers. Uh-oh. You know why? Because if you want both numbers equal to 12, they're going to have to be 6. In other words, both numbers have to be 6. But that's fine, we can keep it like that. They didn't say the dice can be any other range. It has to be 1 to 6, so they both have to be 6. What we're going to do, the rest of our program has to be, okay, I'm deleting my show message because I don't need it anymore. What this program actually wants us to do ultimately is count the number of times that you had to roll the dice before you got a sum of 12. Like in other words, both of them 6. How many times do you have to roll the dice? Well, we're going to count. So let's go make a counter called rCount, an integer variable. So make an integer variable. And we're going to set rCount equal to 0 before we start the loop. We're going to count how many times this loop is going to run. Now we have to make the decision of where to put our increment count. Where do we add 1 to our count? Well, I think I'm going to put it over here after I generate the two numbers, and that's it. And then all we have to do then is display our count somewhere. But before we go and display our count anywhere, we're going to look at our requirements of the program again carefully. Take note, this is how you will cover any test or exam questions. You keep read and reread. You don't assume anything. So I've got the loop inside that button click rolling the dice, you know. Whereas, yeah, there we have that. And this is a different way of doing it, but I used a Boolean flag, so they had a different way where you can actually do that. Now, in the list box, we are going to put in the number of roles, and we will display the items in the list box. Okay, so we're going to display R-1 and R-2 in the list box. Oh, no, we display the total. Let's display the total in the list box, and then we will display the number of roles for each button click inside that label there. So this is a list box. The totals we displayed over here. So when we roll the dice, basically, we're actually doing a whole lot of rolls here. Our count must be displayed inside this label over here. So see the label right at the bottom. So let's go. It's called LBL rolls. We'll say LBL rolls dot caption colon equals number of roles equals plus int to string our count So we got that. That's where we're going to display the number of roles. But let us display the sum of R-1 and R-2 inside the list box. Now if we look at the thing here, you'll see any numbers that are not 12, we're not going to display in the list box. So inside our roll the dice button, if R-1 plus R-2 is not equal to 12, we will display it in the list box. So I'm going to put an else here, begin and end. So we know what we're going to do if R-1 plus R-2 equals 12. We say, okay, B success is true, then the loop will stop. Else, over here, we're going to display R-1 plus R-2 inside the list box. And the list box is called list roles. So it's lst roles dot items dot add, in brackets we have to put our sum. Now I don't know if you're with me now. Am I going too fast? Okay.